We just sang a song that says, I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. Well, for a long time, I was living in shame. And because of Christ's strength, I've overcome that shame. And because of my overcoming of the shame, I can be a better witness for Christ today. And today, I'm going to be an effective witness by giving my testimony of what Christ has done for me. From the time of my birth, 50 years ago, I have been told repeatedly that Jesus is calling you, by family and by friends. But at such a young age, I didn't know what that meant. I only knew that I loved and feared God. At 7, I was in a major battle, still an innocent boy, but already a target of Satan because of not having a father and a calling I knew nothing about. Satan used my stepfather to repeatedly molest me and install fear and shame into my mind. Hurt and shame, driven by a lack of understanding, I drifted away from my mother and the church. And as I started on my own journey searching for answers, I was shattered and forced to live a life of secrecy and fear of being rejected if I told someone. Shame set in, and I began to run from everybody and everything. My confidence was shot. I believed I could never achieve anything in life, but better less, working for Jesus. I just couldn't understand. Why me? Why me, Lord? At 12, I began hanging around gangs in Los Angeles while my mother was working, thinking they cared and I was safe with them. But that decision was not the answer. It only led to more trouble, more pain for me and my mother. Trying to be something I wasn't, I thought was cool, caused me to be put in juvenile hall, in foster homes, in trouble with the police. I thought being a gangster was the life. It caused more pain than glory. I got shot, arrested, and started using drugs trying to be cool. It was all an illusion, a tool used by Satan to cause further destruction and separation from the truth. I began feeling really alone and hating myself for what I have become. I told myself over and over that I was a winner, but I even believed that I was a loser. As I continually sunk lower and lower into a life of streets, drugs, lying, and plain happy, but really miserable, trying to cover up my real pain. I hated what life had become. I had no purpose, and I hated myself for being so weak that I tried to kill myself. But I was nowhere near to what my family raised me to be. I joined the Army trying to escape my pain, but that only enhanced my drug problem and hatred for white people. After getting out because of drugs and being beaten repeatedly by whites, hatred started to grow. Soon after, my brother was killed by LAPD, and I went even deeper into madness with a new weapon, hatred against me. I knew a Jesus, but I turned to my God, which was drugs, because I listened to the battle in my mind and I believed I was unworthy to call upon Jesus. Then I heard Jesus say, I never left you or forsake you. It was a message of hope just for me, and I felt his love again. My body registered his will for me to stop using when I had a mild stroke and my body began to curl up and lock in place. I knew it was time to stop. I reached my crossroads. I tried several other times to get high, but it was ugly to me. It was finished. My life began to change rapidly, and I began to hate my old ways. love and hope began to blossom, and I felt life in me again. I began to believe that I am somebody. I was told by Jesus to leave everything and go to Cleveland. I did not know what was in Cleveland, but I knew Jesus had something for me there. So I left Cincinnati, and with my cousin's help, after several months, I came to Cleveland. I went to the VA for treatment, and that's when I found out about high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And if I had continued to get high, I would have died. The stroke was my final warning. I surrendered my life to Jesus and said, "You lead and I'll follow." And my spiritual life was resurrected. I was led by the Spirit to Glenville, and when Alicia, my cousin, brought me in the door, I felt the strong presence of the Holy Spirit. He led me to a place where love is plentiful and His Spirit is thriving. A place where the leaders are so full of God's presence in their lives, and I can learn to love again. But most importantly, to love as Jesus loved, unconditionally. A place where I can get and give help. A place where I finally have a church family. I've never had one, and even my own family is so scattered we haven't seen each other since childhood. But praise Jesus, I have all of you today. Even though the battle still rages today, I have a church family to help me, and I'm part of the family of Jesus Christ. Thank you, and God bless you.